The absolute worst advice you can get about making a woman miss you is to ignore her completely. Seriously, if you've been following that garbage, stop right now. I'm about to reveal something that's going to flip everything you think you know about attraction on its head, and I guarantee it's not what you're expecting. Today we're diving into the one secret that actually makes women miss you, think about you constantly, and genuinely want to be around you more. But before I blow your mind, hit that like button if you're tired of getting terrible dating advice that makes you look desperate and needy. So let's start with what doesn't work. The internet is flooded with this nonsense about playing hard to get, about becoming mysterious and distant, about making her chase you by basically disappearing. Here's the problem with that approach. It's manipulative, it's immature, and most importantly, it backfires spectacularly with any woman worth your time. I see guys all the time who think the secret to attraction is becoming some kind of enigma. They'll text a woman, then wait exactly 3 hours to respond to her message. They'll cancel plans at the last minute to seem busy. They'll act disinterested when they're actually dying to see her again. And you know what happens? The woman gets confused, frustrated, and eventually moves on to someone who actually knows how to communicate like an adult. The real secret, the one that actually works, is something I call strategic vulnerability. Now, before you roll your eyes and think I'm about to tell you to pour your heart out on the first date, hear me out. This is completely different from what you're imagining. Strategic vulnerability isn't about dumping your emotional baggage or being needy. It's about showing carefully chosen glimpses of your authentic self in moments that create genuine connection. It's about being selectively open in ways that make her feel special and trusted, while maintaining your own sense of mystery and depth. Think about it this way. When someone shares something real with you, something they don't share with everyone, how does that make you feel? It creates intimacy. It makes you feel chosen. It makes you want to know more about that person. That's exactly what strategic vulnerability does, but you have to know how to do it right. The key is timing and context. You're not sharing your deepest fears during small talk at a coffee shop. You're not telling her about your childhood trauma while you're trying to plan a weekend trip. Strategic vulnerability happens in those quiet moments when there's already a connection forming, when the conversation naturally flows towards something deeper. Here's what this looks like in practice. Maybe you're talking about your career goals, and instead of just saying you want to be successful, you share a specific moment when you realized what you actually wanted to do with your life. Maybe you're discussing family, and you mention something your mom taught you that still guides how you treat people. Maybe you're talking about travel, and you share why a particular place holds special meaning for you. Notice how these examples are personal, without being heavy. They reveal character, without being overwhelming. They invite her into your world without making her your therapist. That's the balance you're looking for. The reason this works is because most guys are either completely closed off, or they're emotional fire hydrants with no filter. When you can find that sweet spot in the middle, when you can be genuinely open while still maintaining some mystery, you become magnetic. You become someone she thinks about when you're not around because she's gotten a taste of who you really are, but she wants to discover more. But here's where most guys mess this up. They think strategic vulnerability means trauma dumping or trying to get sympathy. They'll share something difficult they went through, and then sit back expecting her to comfort them or validate them. That's not what this is about at all. When you share vulnerably, it should be from a place of strength, not weakness. For example, instead of saying, "I have trust issues because my ex cheated on me," you might say, "I've learned that trust is something I don't give lightly. But when I do, it means something." See the difference? Same basic information, but one comes from a place of victimhood, while the other comes from a place of wisdom and strength. The second part of making her miss you through strategic vulnerability is creating what I call emotional deposits. These are moments where your openness creates a positive emotional experience for her. When you share something real, and she responds positively, you've just made an emotional deposit in the relationship bank account. She associates being around you with feeling trusted, valued, and connected. These emotional deposits are what she thinks about when you're not together. She remembers how it felt when you trusted her with something personal. She remembers the way the conversation flowed when you opened up. She remembers feeling like she was seeing a side of you that not everyone gets to see. That's what creates genuine longing and anticipation. Now let's talk about the flip side of this. While you're being strategically vulnerable, you also need to be genuinely curious about her. This isn't a one-way street where you're just trying to get her to miss you. The most attractive thing you can do is show authentic interest in who she is beyond the surface level. Ask her questions that go deeper than her job or her hobbies. Find out what drives her, what she's passionate about, what experiences have shaped her perspective. And when she shares something meaningful with you, really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Show her that what she's saying matters to you. This creates a feedback loop of intimacy. You share something real, she responds positively and shares something back. You respond with genuine interest and curiosity, and suddenly you've created a dynamic that's completely different from the typical dating conversation. You've created something that feels significant and rare. The beauty of this approach is that it works regardless of whether you're looking for something casual or serious. Strategic vulnerability isn't about rushing into deep emotional intimacy. It's about creating authentic connection at whatever level is appropriate for where you are in getting to know each other. Here's another crucial piece that most guys miss. The timing of your vulnerability matters just as much as the content. You want to share these moments when there's already some momentum in the conversation, when she's engaged and receptive. If she seems distracted or disinterested, that's not the time to open up. Wait for those moments when you have her full attention and there's already a good energy between you. Also, pay attention to how she responds when you do share something personal. If she changes the subject quickly or seems uncomfortable, she might not be ready for that level of connection yet, and that's okay. But if she engages with what you've shared, asks follow-up questions, or shares something back, that's a green light to continue building that deeper connection. The biggest mistake I see guys make with this approach is thinking that more vulnerability equals more attraction. That's not how it works. Strategic vulnerability is called strategic for a reason. It's about quality, not quantity. One meaningful moment of openness is worth more than 10 shallow attempts at being deep. Think of it like seasoning food. A little bit of the right spice at the right time can transform a meal. Too much, and you've ruined it. Vulnerability in dating works the same way. Used strategically, it creates incredible connection. Overdone, it becomes overwhelming and counterproductive. Here's what this looks like over time. In the early stages of dating, your strategic vulnerability might be sharing what inspired your career choice, or talking about a meaningful friendship in your life. As things progress and trust builds, you might share more significant experiences or personal values that have shaped who you are. The key is always being authentic while being strategic. Don't manufacture vulnerability just to create attraction. Share things that are genuinely meaningful to you, but be thoughtful about when and how you share them. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Some of you are thinking this sounds manipulative, like you're calculating every emotional moment. That's not what this is about. Strategic vulnerability isn't about manipulation. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about understanding that intimacy builds gradually and that there's an art to sharing yourself with someone new. When done right, strategic vulnerability doesn't feel calculated at all. It feels natural and organic because it's based on reading the moment and responding authentically. The strategic part is simply being mindful of timing and context, not manufacturing fake emotional moments. The reason this makes women miss you is simple. Most of their interactions with men are surface level. Most guys are either trying to impress them with achievements and status, or they're being completely generic and forgettable. When you can connect with her on a genuinely human level, when you can be real without being needy, you stand out in a way that's impossible to ignore. She thinks about you because you've given her something to think about. You've shown her glimpses of depth and authenticity that make her curious to learn more. You've created moments of genuine connection that feel rare and valuable in a world of shallow dating interactions. This approach also builds attraction because it demonstrates confidence. It takes real confidence to be vulnerable with someone. Not desperate, needy vulnerability, but the kind that comes from knowing who you are and being comfortable sharing that selectively. Women are attracted to men who are secure enough in themselves to be real. The bottom line is this: if you want a woman to miss you, give her something worth missing. Not games, not manipulation, not artificial scarcity, but genuine connection. Show her parts of yourself that matter. Be curious about who she really is. Create moments that feel significant and real. That's how you become unforgettable. That's how you make her think about you when you're not around. And that's how you build something that's actually worth both of your time. If this perspective on attraction and dating resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. I'm always curious to hear how these concepts land with different people and what questions they bring up. Until next time, remember that the goal isn't just to make her miss you. The goal is to build something real with someone worth missing.